Welcome back into Bengals Breakdown. I am your host, Stone Sheilds. Thanks so much for joining us once again. And we got some more picks to discuss here with the Cincinnati Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals are making their way through this 2024 NFL Draft. And we've got two new pieces to talk to you about. And it all started in the fifth round at pick number 149 when the Bengals selected cornerback Josh Newton out of TCU. And Josh Newton, he had a really, really long college career. Played at Louisiana Monroe for a couple of years before eventually transferring to TCU. And that's where his career really took off for him. And he even got a lot of experience in that 2022 national title game against Georgia. And that kind of put him on the map and won a lot of awards in the Big 12 that season. And then came back for one more year last year and also put up some really good numbers as well. So this is certainly going to help with the depth that the Bengals needed in this cornerback room. Obviously, we know about Cam Taylor-Britt, and he can really be a lockdown corner in this league and really line up against a number one receiver on any given Sunday. But DJ Turner on the other side, there's certainly some question marks with Turner at this point. He's obviously a speedster, love his speed. But, there's certainly some things he needs to work on, and not necessarily sure if he is going to be the cornerback of the future. DJ Ivey saw a lot of good things out of him last year as well before he suffered an injury that ended his season. So really was important for the Bengals to add a piece, and they do that here in the fifth round, with Josh Newton out of TCU. Taking a look at a couple of his stats here. Had an interception, 9 pass breakups, 33 tackles. Was a really solid player for Sonny Dykes at TCU and did a nice job. Let's take a look at what Dane Brugler of The Athletic had to say about Newton. He says, Newton has only average twitch and long speed for tight coverage versus NFL athletes, but he is instinctive and competitive with inside-outside experience. He projects best in a zone-heavy scheme, and he had him graded in the 4th or 5th round. And like I said, he's really just going to be a nice depth piece for the Cincinnati Bengals, someone that Lou Anarumo can work with, and certainly a bit of a project. When you take a guy, at this point in the draft, you're not, expecting him to come in and start by any means, right? But, I think Lou Anarumo, Zac Taylor, Duke Tobin, they do have belief that he could be an NFL player. Maybe not, a starter in this league perhaps, but as we all know, especially on defense and, in the defensive back position, guys are going to get hurt. It's not just going to be Turner and Taylor-Britt out there the entire season. They're going to need some depth in that room, and they get it here with Newton. Your chance to get interactive here in the comments. We want to know what you think. Go ahead and grade this pick. Give it an A, B, C, D, or F. Let us know. I think me personally, I'm probably hovering in that B- range. Again, at this point, it was just, all right, let's get a corner and see what we can do with them. And, I've always had the theory of he plays at a big school and has played in big-time games. I like that for guys in the NFL. Not to say that, you have to come from a big school, right? Plenty of small school guys that are stars in the NFL and Hall of Famers as well. But I always think that's a nice edge, and he certainly played in some massive games at TCU, and I really like that about him and his game. Let's take a moment and thank our friends at GameTime, because without them, this show would not be possible. GameTime is the best way to get your tickets for any event, whether it be a baseball game, football game, basketball game, you name it. You shouldn't have to worry when you buy tickets to your next big event. GameTime is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their best price guarantee, GameTime takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. GameTime has deals on tickets right up to the start of the event and even an hour after it starts, and it's the place to find last-minute seats. I use GameTime all the time. I'm a big last-minute seat guy in Cincinnati. Going to a Reds game, Bengals game, UC basketball, Xavier basketball, FC Cincinnati, whatever the case may be, they are there, and they are going to deliver for you at GameTime. And, sometimes going into a Bengals game, those prices are pretty steep, but you want to, sit around for the first quarter and then hop on GameTime and see what it's like. You certainly can do that, and that's what makes GameTime so elite. And make sure to always buy your tickets through GameTime. Download the GameTime app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download GameTime today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. All right, another draft pick to get you filled in on from the Cincinnati Bengals here in the 6th round, Tanner McLachlan, tight end out of Arizona. And this one's, a bit of a head-scratcher because, as we know, a couple of rounds ago, the Bengals selected Eric All, another tight end, who was at Michigan and Iowa, and now they bring in yet another tight end. And they already have 3 tight ends signed to their roster. But, you never want to completely freak out over a pick, especially this late in the draft. Being a 6th-round pick, there's no guarantee, these guys are going to make the roster correct. But, he's certainly, a guy that could be a practice squad guy perhaps. And you never know. He might be able to shine in camp and find his way onto a roster. Why they took him in addition to All, I don't know. I mean, All certainly has injury concerns, so maybe if, something went awry with Hall, they'd be like, all right, well, we have this other guy we can try as well. But keep in mind, they also have 3 tight ends already on their roster with Mike Gesicki, Tanner Hudson, and Drew Sample. So crowded room at the moment, but, never a bad thing to necessarily have a crowded tight end room, as we know how valuable those guys are. A little bit of about him here. Our draft expert, Tom Downey, had him as his number 7 overall tight end. And taking a look here what the Athletic's Dane Brugler had to say about McLachlan. He said, McLachlan is a good-sized athlete who can shine at the catch point with his strong ball skills, although his development with routes and run blocking will determine his NFL ceiling. He projects as a reserve tight end with a chance to be a long-term contributor. And he had him as a 4th or 5th round grade, and the Bengals obviously get him in the 6th. So there's promise there from Brugler. He believes that, he could certainly be a player in this league. And obviously that's very promising. You would love to have him be a guy that can go out there and be a great blocker for your team, right? The Bengals certainly need a tight end that can go out there and block. Drew Sample does a great job of that. But, the running game really has struggled the past few years in Cincinnati, and certainly need a tight end to bolster, that blocking ability. But also you want a guy that on 3rd down in the red zone you can go to and rely on. And, Joe Burrow loves to have that security blanket of a tight end, and he hasn't really had that since Hayden Hurst left, right? He had that in the Super Bowl year with Uzomah before he, of course, got hurt. Hayden Hurst was outstanding a couple of years ago, but, that position hasn't really panned out necessarily perfectly. And as you can see here, the Bengals and Duke Tobin and Zac Taylor and everybody upstairs at that organization is really doing everything they can to try to fix that, right? Because they have so many guys in that room right now at the tight end position. Once again, your chance to get interactive in the comments. The Bengals still have 3 more draft picks left. Another one here in the 6th, and then 2 more coming in the 7th. Plenty of opportunity to find a diamond in the rough and continue to bolster that roster in any way, shape, or form. So let us know which position and which player you would like to draft next down below in the comments.